What up, what up, what up, Lakers Nation? Welcome back to Bleach Report for your Thursday edition of Lakers Daily. Uh, Remember, we're here all postseason long, every day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Today, it's a little alteration in the schedule. We're 2 hours earlier to make way for the NFL draft, which takes place later today. But again, programming note, just remember we're here every day, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you guys are locked and loaded all postseason long, baby. Hopefully, we're riding this thing all the way to June when the Lakers are the last man standing. Here we are, man. It's game three. It is game three. It's game three. Game three kicks off tomorrow or tips off tomorrow in Minnesota. This series shifts to Minnesota. So now the Lakers have a huge opportunity to go steal back home court advantage. Of course, the series is tied 1-1. Minnesota had that shocking victory in game one. They stole home court advantage, but the Lakers got their lick back on Tuesday night with a big win, big win, 94-85 victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves, a game which the Lakers they won that game in the first quarter. They came out on fire in that first quarter, held Minnesota to only 15 points. We're going to talk about that decent defense, but 15 first quarter points, 34 from the Lakers, and that was a 19-point lead, and they kind of rode that thing all the way to the end. It got tight there at the end. Minnesota tried to make a comeback. A terrible second half by the Lakers offensively. Only scored 36 points offensively, only 13 in the fourth quarter. We're going to talk about that offense too. That struggle, that the offense has been on the struggle bus. But nevertheless, it's the playoffs. So by hook or by crook, however you get the job done, just get it done. They got the victory, and now that 16 becomes 15. 15 is the Lakers' magic number, which obviously means 15 wins. You're 15 wins away from being crowned champions once again. So there's still a lot of work to do. This series is not over by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be a dogfight. That game was a dogfight. But again, 15 games remain. 3 games remain in this series. So now it's become a best of 5 series. The first team to win 3 out of 5, they will advance to the next round. So again, absolute dogfight. You look at the score for the game, 94-85. What are we back in the 90s? Are we in a time capsule and playing 90s basketball? Because man, that is a very low scoring game. And then you expand on that even more. You know, each team made 5 threes. So it's crazy, bro. In today's NBA, that's what you see, 3 after 3 after 3. And only 5 threes made by each team. So pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy game. It was a physical game. We know that's what Minnesota wants to do. They want to play physical basketball. They did that in game 1, and they also did it in game 2. But the difference is the Lakers was ready. Yeah, the Lakers matched that energy. That they matched that physicality, and they shown that they could do it. Right now, if this series is long, 6-7 games, I think that physicality thing, it probably kind of favors Minnesota. They're more built for that style of basketball. They play that slow pace, physical style of basketball. That's not really what the Lakers do. But to see that they were able to match it, which in the playoffs, sometimes it's just everything is out the window, and you just got to get a victory by however that night's game is dictated. And the Lakers matched it, right? And they came out with a victory. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters. They got the victory. But again, it was encouraging to see the Lakers match that physicality, because I had it in the back of my mind. It was a thought in my mind, but I wasn't worried about it, right? It wasn't a concern, if you will. Worried, but not a concern, if you will. Was maybe this team can out physical the Lakers, a la 2024, right? That Detroit Pistons. I had those vibes in the back of my mind. So again, they were that team, that Detroit team, they just out physical the Lakers, and I was hoping that that's not the case here in Minnesota with this Minnesota squad. But again, the Lakers matched it. They matched it. That's what happens when you poke the bear. Right. Hey, Hey, they woke the Lakers up. And again, we cautioned or we made mention of, how game ones are generally fill out games for LeBron James. We've seen that his entire career. Game ones in series are usually fill out games, right? And Luka actually now after that loss on Saturday, he's 2-7 in game one. So I think the Lakers they kind of took it easy and Minnesota hit them in the mouth, right? But they fought back. They hit back last night, right? Or Tuesday night. And Tuesday night was a fist fight. It was a dog fight. And again, we came out victorious. So at the end of the day, I'm going to keep saying that that's all that matters is that you get the victory and you tie this thing up 1-1. And now you get to go to Minnesota and you get an opportunity, huge opportunity for the Lakers because it's going to be game 3. So it's a swing game, right? And whoever wins game 3, they pretty much has control of the series. But the Lakers get 2 nights off, right? They get 2 nights off. So they played on Tuesday, they get Wednesday off, they get today off, and they don't play until tomorrow. So that's huge. That's very beneficial for the Lakers when you have a 40-year-old LeBron James, when you have a Luka Doncic who's probably not in the best of shape that he's been in his career. So that's major for the Lakers, having those 2 games off. So it's a perfect opportunity to go into Minnesota and steal game 3, because if you don't, on the flip side of that, say the Lakers lose game 3, you don't have that big gap in between games again. You don't get that time. I think you do later on in the series, but you won't get it for game 4. Game 4 will be on Sunday. So you play 2 games in a matter of 3 nights. So again, you want to take advantage of this rest, right? You want to take advantage of that, and you want to go in there and try to steal game 3 and get home court advantage back. Of course, right now, Minnesota, they still have home court advantage, but Minnesota had a huge opportunity to really punch the Lakers in the mouth and take a 2-0 lead. When you go in and steal game 1, man, we could be having a much different conversation. So shout out to the Lakers there, right? But again, this is not a cakewalk. Remember, I chose the Lakers in 6. I'm still right now holding on to my pick, Lakers in 6. But again, it's going to be a dogfight. All right. Minnesota came down to earth a little bit, right? They had 20. They made 21 threes in game 1. Again, they only made 5 threes in game 2. So they came down. Jaden McDaniels, he was 3 of 3. In game 1 from 3, he was 0 of 3 in game 2, right? Randall and everyone else, they kind of came down a little bit as we thought they would. But again, I think you have to credit that to the Lakers defense, right? Because in game 1, they were leaving shooters wide open, Game 2, they kind of stayed home a bit. They didn't shade and as much. They kind of stayed home, stayed glued to their guys, and they contested threes, right? Remember game 1, out of the 21 threes that they made, or a lot of those were uncontested shots, uncontested threes. Well, that wasn't the case in game 2. They stayed home and they contested those threes, and the threes they just didn't fall. From either team, the Lakers had a horrible 3-point night too. They shot 20%. Minnesota shot 20%. So the 3 ball just wasn't there. So, the Lakers found another way to win the game. So shout out to them. But again, the defense. We know that defense was there. We've seen a very long stretch of basketball where the Lakers played as a top defense. And you kind of saw that again on Tuesday night. They held Minnesota to only 15 first quarter points we talked about, but they held them to 85 points on the night. A season low for Minnesota, 85 points. And a lot of that was the Lakers defense, right? Yeah, they missed shots, but a lot of that was because of the Lakers defense. LeBron was excellent defensively. Excellent guarding Randall. Now, Randall had a big night. He scored 27 points. But when LeBron was on him, LeBron held his own and switching on to Ant and so on and so forth. Big game defensively. And the Banshees off the bench, DFS and Vando and Jordan Goodwin, all those guys, Gabe Vincent, you got to give credit to those guys, because when they were out there, they were legit defensively as well. They contributed to the excellent Lakers defensive performance on Tuesday night. So it was a team effort, right? Team effort, and Ant, the way they defended Ant, it was a lot more pressure, point of attacker pressure, if you will, right? And it's going to be Ant. He's just that good, but they defended him great, man. They were on him. There was a lot more one-on-one as opposed to sending that help. So you love to see it. And Ant, again, he scored. Ant had, what did he have? 25 points, but that was on 22 shots. So you got to love that. You'll take that. 25 points from Ant on 22 shot attempts. Even game one, he had 22 points, but it was on 22 shot attempts again. So we'll live with that. I think if you're the Lakers, you're going to live with that, and you see the result. The big difference was Randall had 27, so those two, that's 52 points there. But they were the only two Timberwolves in double figures. After that, it was a huge drop off. McDaniels came back to earth. He had 23 in game one. He only had 8 on Tuesday night. So he came way down. Nas Reed had a big game on game one. He only had 9 points. Now Nas was in foul trouble. A lot of foul trouble for Nas. A lot of stupid fouls in the first half. I think he had 3 or 4 fouls in the first half. So yeah, they came back down to earth, and hey, it is what it is. The stats for Lakers, again, LeBron, he had a bounce back game. He had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. So shout out to LeBron there. Luka doing Luka things. There he picked up right where he left off, not just from game one, but from last year in the Western Conference Finals. 31 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. He led the Lakers in points, rebounds, and assists. So playoff Luka is real, man. Playoff Luka is real. I think we already knew that, but now seeing him do it in the purple and gold, it's just a sight to see, man. Sight to see. He was 9 of 20 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. So he didn't have the best night shooting the ball, but like we said, the Lakers didn't, period. They only made 5 threes on the night. So he was 11-11 from the free throw line. So shout out to Luka there. And really fast, again, of course, the Minnesota fans, they were complaining about the foul calls, the free throws, saying, oh, this is how the Lakers are going to get back into this series. Man, chill out, bro. The Lakers had 24 fouls. Minnesota had 22. So chill out. Like, cut all that out. That's the first thing everyone wants to yell when the Lakers win. Free throw disparity, free throw. That myth, throw that thing out the window. It's just straight cap, man. It's straight cap. 24 fouls for the Lakers, 22 for Minnesota. So the Lakers, they got called for more fouls. Minnesota also shot 25 free throws compared to the Lakers' 20 free throws. Plus 5. They won the free throw battle. Plus 5. So all that, no, we ain't doing that, bro. We're not doing that. It was a very physical game. In fact, there were 22 foul calls in the first 60 possessions of the game. So it was a very physical game. And that's playoff basketball. You're going to get that some nights. Physicality is part of the playoffs, right? Especially in a game where the Lakers only scored 94 and Minnesota only scores 85. You know, you're well under that 100-point threshold for each team, well under the 200-point threshold, which is crazy in today's NBA. But when scores are like that, it's going to be a physical matchup. So again, I'm just proud to see the Lakers stepped up their physicality. And not just that, their energy, the effort, the intensity, they stepped all of that up. It all got stepped up. And so shout out to the Lakers for doing that, right? And that's what this thing's going to come down. I think the series it's going to remain a physical series. So the Lakers are going to have to bring that same energy each night, right? Especially as they shift back to Minnesota, right? The rest of the Lakers scoring, AR, he had a bounce back game, 16, 5, and 5. He struggled out the gate. First half, very, very slow, but he rebounded in the second half. I think he came out like 0-4. He missed his first 4 shots. So he struggled, especially in that first quarter, first half. But he bounced back in the second quarter. His 3-point shot just did not fall. He was 0-6 from 3. So terrible shooting the ball from 3. But, you know, he got in the paint and did some work there in the paint. He finished the game 7-14. So he finished 7 of 8, you know, in the paint scoring. We got to unlock AR, which we'll talk about. But you know, decent bounce back game. Rui, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Rui only attempted 2 3-pointers which is insane. That's something that they have to correct that right away. He's going to have to shoot more threes. And the thing is, we're not forcing. He had open threes. He had open looks. Now, Minnesota closed out on some of the threes, but it's the playoffs. You're going to get that. You're not going to get wide open looks. You will every now and again, especially with Luka running the show. But, he had some decent looks. He just hesitated to shoot them, pass it, or put the ball on the ground. 2 threes, yeah. Contested three, you're going to have to shoot those. You're going to have that quick trigger and knock those things down, right? DFS 7 points, 5 rebounds. Gabe Vincent 6 points, and that's pretty much it. Jordan Goodwin, he played a couple of minutes, but that was it. It was a tight line, and Jackson Hayes, of course. Jackson Hayes only played 9 minutes. He had 5 fouls. Terrible game from Jackson Hayes. If that's how he's going to play, then give him 0 minutes, right? It was just a terrible game, some stupid plays, and that's the thing with Jax. Just some stupid fouls. He had some back-to-back fouls. So terrible. Again, only 9 minutes, only 8 minutes from Vando. I thought that we would see more of those guys. In game 1, they combined for 22 minutes, and I was like, man, we need to try to push that up to 38. Closer to 40, in this matchup with these bigs, but hey, they got the job done. Vando, I still would like to see more of him. I would like to see more of him on Ant. That's just something that the Lakers they haven't really went to that, or the series, the gameplay and style of play hasn't really resulted in that matchup. But I would love to see that matchup some more. And if Ant gets going, again, they've pretty much held Ant under control, 25 points, 22 points. If Ant really gets going, maybe you will see more of that, but we'll see. Goodwin, he played 7 minutes, and that was it. That was it. The lineup was real tight, as it should be. When you're in a dogfight like this, game two, you pretty much had to win. JJ's going to play the guys he trusts, right? He doesn't trust Jackson Hayes, and when you got 5 fouls in 9 minutes, why should you be trusted? Goodwin, he's, good story, but yeah, he's not going to play major minutes. Vando, again, we want to see Vando out there. Now, we know his limitations offensively, so, there's that, right? But, yeah, man, big game, great win. Rando, again, 27, 4, and 6. He was their guy. He was their leading scorer. And you hear all that stuff about Randall's his playoff performances, right? How he chokes or falls off in the playoffs. Well, so far so good. He's been playing very, very well, and a big reason why Minnesota is in this series. And again, only 25 points. The big difference, though, from tonight or Tuesday night, I keep saying tonight or last night, Tuesday night, I'm ready for some more basketball. I can't wait till tomorrow. But the big difference in Ant from Tuesday night and game 1, 25 points. He scored more points, but he had 0 assists. 0 assists from Ant compared to 9 assists in game 1. So the Lakers definitely cleaned that up a bit. And they did so by staying home. Again, they didn't shade him as much, and they kind of stuck to their guys where they didn't have wide open shots. So that's the major difference. If you can limit Ant to that, his assists where his assists are low, yeah, you got a big chance of winning the series. And that's something they're going to have to do. But if Ant is having 7+ assists, then yeah, it's going to be tough. It's kind of, we talked about it on Tuesday. It's kind of like Jokic. We've seen Jokic have those big performances year in and year out against the Lakers in the playoffs, where he was scoring big points, but even more important, he was getting 15+ assists, right? And grabbing the boards and all that. So again, Ant had 9 assists in game 1, 0 tonight. And you see the difference, major difference, major different results. So that's something that the Lakers need to do. I want to talk about the Lakers offense now. We talked about the defense. Shout out to the defense. 85 points, a season low, 85 points. So we're going to see, we're going to need much more of that, right? The Lakers had 6 blocks too. And it was 6 individual blocks. LeBron had a block. Rui had a block. DFS had a block. Luka had a block. Gabe had a block. So 6 blocks from 6 different guys. So you love to see that. You absolutely love to see that. And then something else with the defense, the transition buckets, the fast break buckets. Remember, they outscored what it was like 25-6 or something like that, game one. Well, the Lakers cleaned that up. They only gave up 6 fast break transition buckets in game two. So that was big. It went from 25-6, and they actually won that stat 13-6. So it was a 13 to 6 advantage for LA. So big shout out to the Lakers there, cleaning that part of things up. Really fast, my prediction still Lakers in 6. That was my prediction coming in. I wasn't on that Lakers in 5 camp, although I could have seen it, But I didn't take this Minnesota team lightly, a 49-win team. They had won like 21. They went like 17-4 or something like that, to close the season, after the All-Star break. So this is a very good team. So I was giving them their due credit. We all know how physical they are. So, I thought that they would steal 2 games, win 2 games in this series. And I'm still riding with that. I still got Lakers in 6. I think the Lakers go in tomorrow night and they steal tomorrow night's game. Again, those 2 nights off is major for the Lakers, right? That benefits the Lakers, in my opinion. So I think they go in and they steal game 3. In fact, I think the Lakers go to Minnesota and steal both of those games, games 3 and games 4. And then Minnesota wins 5, and then the Lakers go to Minnesota and closes in 6. Or, Lakers win tomorrow, Minnesota wins game 4, and then the Lakers win 5 and 6. Whatever the case may be, I believe that the Lakers end this thing in 6. Lakers advance in 6 games. Right now, if Minnesota wins tomorrow night, then I don't know. I might have to push that back to 7. I still believe that the Lakers win this series, but I think you're more, instead of being 5 or 6, I think I definitely lean more towards 6 or 7. I'm still going with 6 for now, right? The way the Lakers looked in game 2. So I like that. Now I want to talk about the Lakers offense. We talked about Rui a bit. He has to take some shots, more shots. Let's start with AR. So AR has to get it going. Again, another slow start from AR. Again, he finished the game 16-5-5, but 0-6 from 3. So he has to get it going, and the Lakers they're gonna have to start running some actions with AR, running some pick and rolls with AR to get those big man switched on him. He's not going to be able to dominate or get past. We know Sauce and Austin, right? He's not going to be able to do that against these guys. These guys are just too good defensively. Some of the guys who are on him. In the McDaniels or in the or some of those guys, right? I think we're going to have to get the actions going and get him switched onto some of these bigs. You saw him down the stretch. He abused Rudy. It was like him and Luka were taking turns, but AR really had his way with Rudy in the 4th to close that game out. So I think you're going to have to run some actions to get more of that. And that's how you're going to have to get AR going, right? Not shooting the 3 ball. I think you're going to have to run those pick and rolls and get the bigs, get Julius Randle switched on to him, or get Naz Reid switched on to him when he's out there. Get Rudy Gobert switched on to him. I think you're going to need to do that early. I would like to see that in the first quarter and kind of get him going early because he's had some very slow starts. So get him going early, right? That's what I want to see from AR. And then from there, if he sees that ball go through that hoop early and maybe even get to the free throw line a little bit. He hasn't been to the free throw line a lot this series, but if he can get to the free throw line, then yeah, that'll open some things up. That'll open up him, having more confidence against some of the those other defenders and shooting the 3 ball. So get AR going early with actions, pick and rolls, all that stuff. Get him switched on to those bigs. Rui, again, we need to see him shoot more 3s. Now, it was a crazy game for Rui because he got hit in the face. You talk about how physical things are. We talked about 22 fouls in the first 60 possessions. Well, what about Rui? Rui had to go put on a face mask. That's how physical this thing was. He got pounded in the face, hit in the face hard, and had to put on a face mask. He eventually threw it off, and then I think he changed it. So he had a lot going on, but we got to get him going offensively, right? And one of the ways to do that is Minnesota did it again. They did it in game 1. They did it again in game 2. Was Mike Conley. That's the big thing. Where do you hide Conley out there? Because he's the smallest guy on the court, and probably the on that Minnesota side of the ball, he's their least efficient guy defensively. Well, they're hiding him on Rui. So the Lakers have to find a way to take advantage of that. They have to get Rui down there in the post, get Rui on Conley down on the post, get those deep seals where Rui can just kind of abuse him in that fashion, right? Pull Rudy out on the switches or whatever, switch hunt him, pull him out, and get Rui down there in those deep seals. They have to take advantage of that. They have to do that, and I think that's the way to jumpstart Rui. And same like AR, if he's getting some easy buckets that way, then I think the threes will be there for him. They've been there. Again, we talked about it. He only attempted 2 threes, but there were some more. There were opportunities for a good 3 more at least. He just didn't shoot it because, they closed out on him. But you got to be able to knock that down. LeBron. He bounced back. He had a bounce back game, although he didn't shoot the 3 ball well. I think he made one of 7 from 3 or something like that. In fact, LeBron and AR combined 1 of 11 from 3. So, yeah, that's crazy. So LeBron was 1 of 5 from 3. I want to see, same thing. We just talked about Rui a little bit. Same thing with LeBron. Get LeBron switched up on these smalls. Of course, the Lakers, they're going to do a lot of hunting, right? A lot of switch hunting, right? Getting those guys to switch. And you see it with Luka, how he's switching out or hunting out Gobert. I want to see LeBron do the same thing, but not on the bigs. I want to see him do it to these smalls. When Conley is on the court, when Dante DiVincenzo is on the court, when Nicole Alexander-Walker's on the court. Those are the guys I want to see LeBron hunting and posting up. We haven't seen LeBron post-ups yet. We just haven't seen it. Now, is it that growing? I don't know. Is it growing not all the way there? Is that why we haven't been seeing it? Or is he just saving it, right? Whatever the case may be, we need to see that. He could just be saving it he could pull it out for game 5 or game 6. And we've seen LeBron do that before. Where he just didn't post up, but then all of a sudden game 5 and 6 comes and he just abuses them, right? He did that in that, when he won with Cleveland against Golden State. He did it with the Lakers against Golden State, sometimes, right? But yeah, LeBron post-ups, that bully ball, LeBron James bully ball. We need to see some of that. And I want to see some of that against those smalls, right? Those guys just can't, and credit to Minnesota because they really haven't. LeBron has been aggressive doing that. That hasn't been their strategy, their offensive strategy as of yet. But also Minnesota, they're keeping Randle kind of glued to LeBron, right? So that's much more much more difficult to try to bully Julius than it is those aforementioned guys. Yeah, we need to make that a part of the offense. LeBron James post-ups, LeBron James bully ball, right? And then the final thing is Luka. Luka, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I have no critiques or no offensive strategy. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? Again, he only shot 2 of 8 from 3, but those will start to fall. He had 4 turnovers. He had 5 in game 1, so that came down. We want to see that come down just a little bit more. And again, 11 from free throw line. He's just been great. Great. He was great last year against them in the conference finals, with the Mavs. And it's carried over into this series. So, Luka, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Now, the Lakers offense as a whole, as a unit, 95 points in game 1, only 94 points last night. That's something we have to, or Tuesday night, that's something they have to get corrected. They got to get the offense going, man. They absolutely have to. And it's crazy because we all thought that that's where they would excel. We thought they would struggle defensively, but offensively, we thought they would be elite and one of the best in the entire NBA and in the playoffs. We thought that they would have to ride that offense to a championship. And I still think that's true, in some of these other series. But yeah, if they play better offensively, then this series, I don't think is as close because I don't think that Minnesota can match the Lakers offense when the Lakers are playing, more towards their ceiling. Their ceiling is way higher than Minnesota's, right? So yeah, offensively, we got to get it going again. Only 13 points in the fourth quarter on Tuesday night, only 36 points in the second half. The first half, they were on fire, 58 points from 34 points in the opening period, but 58 points from the Lakers in the first half, and then only 36 in the second half. So they absolutely have to get that corrected, clean that up. 13 points in the fourth quarter. That is tight, man. That is tight. Tight. So they have to figure that out. And we just said some of the ways that they can. We talked about Rui, LeBron, AR, so let's get those things going right. Now, you got 11 points from Rui, 7 points from DFS, 6 points from Gabe. Now, they're not knocking down the shots like they were down the stretch, to close the season that allowed the Lakers to secure that 3 seed. They're just not knocking those down. But how dependent on that can you be? It's the playoffs. I just think LeBron and AR in particular, they're going to have to be a lot better. They're going to have to elevate their games. Again, 16-5-5 from AR, but it's not the AR that we had become accustomed to seeing or, down that stretch. It's not looking like a big three, if you will, that version of AR, right? So we need all those guys to elevate their game, or LeBron and AR to elevate their games a bit to match Luka's. If they do that, then yeah, this series or these games aren't going to be as close, as they are. So it's going to be those three. We're not going to be able to fully rely on those other guys, DFS, Gabe, Rui, and all that to come in and score 20 points. Off the bench, you're just not going to get that in the playoffs. There's outliers in there. You may get it. You saw Minnesota do it. They have, and in this series, I think you will get that. You'll get a 20-point game from DFS or a 20-point game from Rui or whatever. Rui, hey, I kind of expect a lot more from him, but a Gabe Vince, you get a 20-point. You may get that. Minnesota got it in game one from their guys, so the Lakers are due for one also, but we can't be dependent on that. We have to depend on LeBron, Luka, and AR to just be better than those guys over there. We need those three to step their games up and play the way they had played down the stretch to close things out. All right. So yeah, but they have to figure something out offensively. Absolutely have to. But those are the biggest two things that JJ spoke about. Was the physicality and the organized offense, right? Those are the two things that he wanted to see more of. And we definitely got the physicality. We got the organized offense. We just didn't get it for 48 minutes or for 4 periods. You got it for a good half, if you will. And down the stretch, shout out to the Lakers, down the stretch, they did find a way to win the game. And they executed down the stretch. In clutch, when it was time, they executed. And that's the one advantage that the Lakers do have over Minnesota. They're just a smarter ball club, and down the stretch, they're a higher IQ ball club, and then down the stretch, they execute. Minnesota, that's one of the things that they have struggled with all season long, and it's probably the thing that's preventing them from becoming, being a true contender and a great team. Is just down the stretch, they fall apart, and down the stretch, the Lakers did outplay them. You had some key plays in there. LeBron had a big steal down the stretch to kind of seal the victory. AR took a big charge down there. And then AR just abused Rudy Gobert down the stretch. So shout out to the Lakers down the stretch. They got things done. And if the games are tight, I'm favoring the Lakers to win things down the stretch. So, and they did that. Now, the Lakers, they kind of had on the flip side of that, the Lakers kind of had a big lead. Again, they had a 19-point lead leaving the first quarter, and they kind of rode that to victory. But they kind of loosened up on the rope a bit, and that's something that we've seen with this Lakers. They don't protect leads well. When they don't handle success well. When they have a big lead, they don't just slam the door shut. They leave it cracked open, and teams kind of crack in. And you can't do that in the playoffs. When you got you got to take advantage of that, especially when you're at home. You just have to take advantage of that. And you saw the lead in the fourth quarter got down to 9, got down to 11 or a 9-point game because the Lakers just kind of eased up a bit. And that's something that I just I hate seeing that. So they got to keep their foot on the pedal. They just have to do that because you can't you can't leave that open. You just can't do that because you never know. Ant might get hot, and he's capable of coming down and getting hot. You know, all these teams have superstars. You saw it last night in that Cleveland series. Donovan Mitchell, 17 points in the fourth quarter, just went off and kind of sealed that thing. You saw it in Boston with Jaylen Brown, went off and kind of sealed that thing. You can't, and Ant is one of those guys who's capable of doing that. So, you know, you just can't do. And with our ball club, we know, you know, if it's a 15-point game or whatever in the fourth quarter, you know, we don't lose hope because you got Luka there, you got LeBron there, you got AR there. So you got three guys there who get hot for the Lakers, but Luka in particular, you know, so everyone has those guys. Now, everyone doesn't have a Luka Doncic. Luka does it better than everyone else, but still, you get the point that I'm making. When you have an opportunity to you know, go for it, go for it. You know, don't leave any room to allow these teams back in. So again, and that goes with the Lakers offense. Just man, just imagine if they would have played offensively the way they did in the first half, they play that way in the second half, then yeah, we're sitting here having a different conversation. That's probably a 20-point victory, right? So yeah, we got to do better there. Absolutely have to do better there. What else I got for you before we get out of here? Now, again, I want to talk before we get out of here. I want to talk about this. The Minnesota's approach on Luka. They're not doubling him, right? They're not blitzing him, not doubling. Really, it may be time to do that because he's just torching them. So if that does happen, if the blitzes come, the double teams come, and all that stuff comes, triple teams, even if that all that stuff comes, you know, maybe that's what will unlock, you know, a Rui big game, or DFS big game, or Gabe Vincent big game, or even AR big game. Maybe that stuff. So something to keep an eye out on, because their approach on Luka, it's just not working. And maybe that's the approach that it's by design, right? You saw some of it in game 2 with the Lakers. It was by design to not double Ant, right? And to stay home on those other guys. That's been Minnesota's approach when they play these good teams like this, when they have a best in the world, you know, type superstar, right? When they play Denver, that was their approach last year, you know, when they beat them to get to the conference finals, and that what a tight 7-game series. That's kind of how they played Jokic. You know, they let Jokic do his thing, but they weren't going to let Jokic have 15 or 16 assists and all that. So now Luka, again, he had 9 assists last night, so 31 points and 9 assists. That's right where you want Luka. So maybe it didn't work as much, but again, let's see if they keep that same strategy. If they choose to just play him straight and they don't send more help or double him, we'll see. But if they do, again, if they blitz him, we've seen teams do that, and we've seen everyone else eat. So let's see how that looks. Again, game 3 is tomorrow night. So it's a Friday night Lakers, baby. Friday night Lakers basketball. Friday night Lakers playoff basketball. Let's get that correct. Again, it's in Minnesota, games 3 and 4. The game tomorrow, just so you'll have an idea, it's a 6:30 Pacific time tip, so 9:30 Eastern time, but Minneapolis, the Target Center, Minneapolis, the home of the Timberwolves, that's Central time, right? So that's at 8:30 Central time. So 9:30 Eastern time, 8:30 local time in Minneapolis, and 6:30 Pacific time. So make a note of that. I'm pretty sure TNT, right? Game 4 is on Sunday. So like we talked about, you know, the Lakers had the 2 nights off tonight, but then game 4 is a quick turnaround. So game 4 is Sunday. That's at 12:30 p.m. So I think that's an ABC game. So that's an early game, early Sunday afternoon game, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then game 5 is next Wednesday. We know for sure we're getting game 5. So that's a for sure lock. These next 3 are for sure locked in. Game 5 next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then game 6 is next Friday, and game 7 is 2 Sundays from now. So Sunday after next Sunday, not this upcoming Sunday, but the following Sunday. So 2 weeks from now. That's game 7. The times for those 2 are not determined yet. Of course, those games aren't for sure yet, you know, because the Lakers could go to Minnesota, win both of those, and then come back to crypto and win game 5. And hey, we're done. On to the next, right? That's very, still a legit possibility. I don't think that happens, but it's still very possible. Or on the flip side, Minnesota could win the next 3. So we know we got 5 locked in for sure. Games 6 and 7, we'll see, but they will be next Friday and then 2 weeks Sunday, 2 Sundays from now. So that's your schedule. So make a note of that. But again, we'll be here to break it all down. Break it all down. Every day, Monday through Friday, we're here, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, we're a little early today with the NFL draft going on tonight. All right. So, yeah, man. Shout out to the Lakers, man. Game 1, they got beat down, embarrassed. Every category. Rebounding the basketball, assists, threes, everything. Transition buckets. They got beat down. Well, they got their get back. They got their lick back in game 2 because they won the rebound battle 41-34, +7 there, right? They won the turnover battle. It was close, 12-11, but they cleaned up the turnovers. They won the transition battle, 13-6. Threes, neither team shot from 3 well, but the Lakers responded. They were physical, they were intense, they were locked in, they were engaged. And we need to see that again tomorrow, even to a greater degree, because now you're going on the enemy's turf. You're going into Minnesota, and that crowd is going to be crazy. That's always a fun crowd. I've been there for a Laker game before, and they represent. So tomorrow in the playoffs, they're definitely going to come through. I'm sure it'll be everyone will have their shirts on or their towels or whatever. And it's going to be another fight, right? So we need to be ready for it. We got to remain physical, and we got to do what we got to do and play Lakers basketball. If we play Lakers basketball, we can beat this team, right? If you don't, then hey, the potential of an upset is there. But again, I'm still riding with Lakers in 6, and let's get the victory tomorrow night. You got basketball on tonight, so enjoy it tonight. And Lakers basketball back at it tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in here for Lakers Daily. Remember, join us every day of the week, Monday through Friday. We'll be back tomorrow to get you right and ready with the pregame show. We'll be back with that tomorrow night before Lakers tip off. Stay locked in. And Lakers, stay locked in. Let's get that W tonight, all right? I'm your boy, your host, Marcel from Lakers Over Everything. Again, that's where you can find me at on all platforms. So come rock with your boy and get that W tomorrow night. All right, we'll tap in with you guys later. Peace.